Hmm. Oh my. Oh my fucking God. Oh man. NVIDIA boned me, friends. I wasn't even gonna like talk about this. I'm just still mad. Guys, warning to everyone out there, if you're using a 40 series, apparently even the 50 series can have some issues. If you're out there using an NVIDIA GPU, do not update your driver unless you absolutely have to. Like if your computer's not working, graphics aren't working, go for it. But do not update your driver. Yesterday, I updated mine as I just usually do. I keep it up to date on the brand new PC that I got in January. Basically bricked it. Like bricked the whole thing. No, it's not actually physically destroyed, but would not boot into safe mode, could not recover, could not do anything at all. I had to partition it, and then I had to just wipe the whole thing, lost everything. I'm on the old computer right now. A little triggered. I'm equally triggered as I am exhausted by like 8 to 10, I don't know, hours of troubleshooting, and now slowly getting everything back on that computer and all the settings. I don't know. Not good. I didn't want to rant about that too much. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but God, I am still rather angry. Anyway, it's a miracle we're live. I appreciate everyone here joining us on Monday, my friends. Do not update your drivers on NVIDIA. Do not do it. But I appreciate you joining me on Monday. It is the 31st of March, and we do have a massive crypto signal right now. We do have some very exciting things. I really wish this hadn't happened yesterday, because you guys know how excited I get for this kind of stuff when it comes to the charts, man. It is the last day of Q1 on the Bitcoin chart, on stocks, on everything. And God, I love when these big time frames close. I'm such a nerd. We are going to start the second quarter of the year, and a second giant 3-month candle will begin in just 6.5 hours. This is very big stuff. We had the quadruple witching last week, where basically we saw March and Q1's interest options expire. Not a lot of price action after that. Not a lot happened, actually, really, in stocks or crypto. Gold continuing to move to all-time highs. We'll take a look at probably a bunch of those charts here in this episode, but we're going to obviously start with crypto, with Bitcoin, and with the total crypto market cap. We're going to check out these big closes. So please, what you can do for me, help make my day just a little bit better. Please smash the like on this stream. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe if you like the content. We're live here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Even when we have a critical failure on our hardware, we still find a way. We still find a way. The more that you like and subscribe, the more YouTube shows us to new people, our audience grows. It's not the spiciest day. I don't expect the biggest audience, but we have some very solid names here in the chat today. Shout out to you guys for being here, putting up with my frustration. I appreciate it. Touch on something quick. Randy in the lobby here was talking about, we are going live and he has notifications enabled, but he doesn't get notifications when we go live. Does anyone else have that issue? Have you noticed that issue? I don't have a definite fix for you. One thing I would ask is, do you get notifications for other YouTubes? And if you do, but not ours, that's odd. What I might suggest is turn off notifications and then turn them back on. Try turning them off, refresh, turn them back on. I'm not sure. That sucks. It does happen. YouTube notifications are kind of odd. They seem to not notify every time. It's like selective. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like you don't get them exactly, Salim. And you're here all the time, my friend. You're here all the time, so you would know. If you don't get a notification, still just check in on the channel at around 1 p.m. East, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll still be live even if you don't get a notification, but give it a chance. Claudience has no notification. Excellent. That's good to know. At least some people are. Cheers. If you're in our Discord, you'll get a notification there. It is what it is. Not the topic today. So let's get into the core of the content. I'm going to try not to bitch about NVIDIA anymore. God, I'm so triggered though, guys. I did it like first thing yesterday. I updated it. I was like, oh, there's a new update. I haven't updated all month. Okay. updated it. It's like, okay, we need to restart to apply these changes. You want to restart now? And I was like, yeah, of course. Restart, computer never went back on. The Windows never loaded again after that. Not until I wiped it, partitioned the drive, whatever. Like totally wiped it, set it all up from a fresh install, lost all my settings. My Lord. Let's get into it. So we are coming to an end here, and I figured what a good time to take a look at the previous Q1 closes in Bitcoin's history. We are closing the first quarter of the year. It is 2025. We have closed many first quarters of the year in the past, and this one kind of stands out. I'll say this one did not go, I admit, the way that I was looking for Q1 to go. And if we look back at the previous years in this run, we will find that it is a little different. So at this point, with 6 hours to go, unless Bitcoin miraculously and crazier things have happened, but I'm not going to really hold my breath here. Unless Bitcoin closes above about 93,000 in the next 6 hours, we're probably going to end up with a candle that looks very much like the current one. This 3-month period has been some of the shittiest, most gut-wrenching, boring, unfun, unexciting price action in the history of bull runs, I'll say it. But in perspective, it's really not that bad. It's really not a bad candle. Q4 of last year closed monstrously up at that 93.4 level. This is where our year opened. Our year is currently red, which sucks. But you can see here, this red candle, kind of fitting of even what has happened in the last year. We can see a big green candle coming in. This was Q1 of last year, followed by something that looks pretty similar. If we are to repeat last year, maybe we see lower lows into Q2 with the wick, close slightly green, and then Q4 put on the gas again. We'll find out step by step, right? We'll find out. But this one kind of stands out here. You can see in the last 2 years of the bull run, or since the bear market bottom, we have seen Q1s be really bullish. This one diverging from the pack, not behaving the same way, not doing the same things. If we go back to 2022, so into, I'll say, post bull market, post all-time high into bear market, we closed a actually stronger looking Q1 red candle to me. Lots of bottom wick, little top wick. Buyers came in, but it did not do anything. I will say that the candle that we are closing more resembles Q2 of last year and Q3 of the year before than it does Q1 of 22. Kind of a little inside candle, bottom wick, top wick, small body. Doesn't really look the same, I'll say, as 2022. But going back to the previous bull run in 2021, this is why we were really kind of looking maybe for more upside, maybe more sustained highs in this quarter. If we're talking about a 4-year cycle, exactly 4 years ago would be January or Q1 of 21. And we closed kind of the candle we were looking for, I'd say, in this quarter. That solid green candle, 2 big quarters in a row back to back. Q4 breaking the all-time high, kind of similar to what we saw last year, and then Q1 continuing that rally. Very different vibe. Very different vibe. I am comforted by these little red candles each year on the way up, but a little just kind of thrown off here, man. We don't have that nice green Q1 candle. And so this is shaping up, again, a little bit different than we've seen in the past. If we go back to January of 2020, hell of a quarter. A hell of a quarter with black swans globally, oil trading negative, Bitcoin back to its bear market lows. We closed kind of like a doji candle and then had 4 quarters of up. This is maybe part of the difference in the feel, in the vibe of this run. We haven't had this kind of sustained up rally. Each time we move up, we have seen in this bull run a quarter similar to the one we're looking to close in 6 hours, with this little red kind of sideways indecision. Both times in this run, I will say we've had 2 quarters of it. So to expect another quarter of boring, it fits the pattern that we've seen in the last 2 years. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but we've seen small green, small red. Let's say small red, small green. Maybe we're seeing the red green again. Your guess is as good as mine. Going back to Q1 of 19, this was the bear market bottom, basically. I mean, it technically happened at the end of 18, but like right into 19, it was actually, I believe, April 1st, April Fool's Day in 2019, when we had this giga chattish rally and we took off from the bear market bottom. None of these, except for the last 2 years, really resemble the one we're seeing at all today, in my opinion. Back to 18, maybe closer. Big red candle, kind of inside red. A little closer to what we're seeing today, but I don't know. Doesn't quite fit in my opinion. You didn't have the 5 quarters of up. This is really the sustained rally I've been talking about during this episode. We haven't really seen it. Now, the price action going back a little bit farther, and this is really what I wanted to talk about. I don't know, go in depth on everything, every candle. This is kind of more of what we've seen this run each year, with a big green candle, then met with a, I guess, more predictable, not quite a hammer candle, but a red quarter. We saw this back to back in 2015 and 16. However, you can see we didn't get it in 17. So we didn't get maybe what we would expect here as another red to fit that pattern. But this is the most similar, not counting this, the last 2 years, in my opinion. Something that we can like already put together just looking at these examples is we do tend to see pretty major shifts after Q1. We've seen bear market bottoms in this Q1. We have seen not quite bull market tops, but close to bull market tops. Definitely a pivotal time, pivotal quarter in the 4-year cycle, or whatever kind of cycle you want to talk about. Definitely a pivotal time. 2015 January, this was the bear market bottom from that cycle. Went on for higher highs. January 2014, this was right after the previous all-time high in Q4 of 13, after a bonkers cycle. I wasn't around back then. I wish. At this point, we really diverged from everything else we've seen in the chart. Bitcoin from 2010 spent like 3 years, pretty much going up. You do have this bear market-ish period here, about 1.5 years, where you went from 32 down to $1. Bitcoin was dead, and then you continued up. We have seen a lot of different outcomes here. A lot of different outcomes on these quarters. This one is not the worst. It doesn't resemble much. These are the main points for anyone tuning in. It doesn't resemble much price action other than the cycle or the period of bull run we have been in since 2020. I'll say with the exception of a little bit of time back here in 15, 16. Green, kind of little red, big green. This is, I guess, what we're hoping to see moving forward, right? Hopefully. In my opinion, in my kind of observation, I just don't really think it looks like the rest of the chart. Kind of looks like a new chartish time, new chartish pattern emerging right now. So let's zoom in a little bit here. I did a little homework, mostly to get my mind off of my computer getting wrecked. But I did a little homework here. So I thought, what might be interesting? Not only do we have Q1 closing, what else do we have? We have April coming. April, the first month in Q2, the start of Q2, always. April this year, and also even every year, is kind of an odd time. We start off the month with April Fools. So remember, tomorrow, you're going to see a lot of crazy thumbnails, a lot of crazy titles, a lot of crazy tweets and posts and things about shit that's not real, right? That's what tomorrow is all about, April Fools. You are going to read something, I guarantee it. You are going to read something or see something tomorrow that makes you panic. Whether it's about Bitcoin or stocks or whatever, who knows? I assume maybe at least one thing about each market. You're going to see something that makes you panic. Remember, it is April Fool's tomorrow. So people are just going to shamelessly, this is, I guess, the way they do all year, every year. Engagement bait, just post things that are blatantly not true because they're going to say, haha, April Fools. And of course, it's going to come from the accounts that like every day post gibberish, even when it's not April Fools. It'll mostly come from them. So remember, take it with a grain of salt tomorrow. Certainly, almost anything you read tomorrow is going to be false. But April comes after Q1, and let's see. Have we had any similar March closes? And maybe we can look to April and see what April has been like as a first month after the quarterly close. So let's go back. April of last year, big red month. We had hit an all-time high in March. We actually closed bearish engulfing, and that kicked off like a 6-month sideways consolidation into the summer. Doesn't really resemble what we're looking at here. I would say even February might be closer to this April because it's like all-time high monthly close, all-time high monthly close, bearish engulf. That actually might line up too well. I don't like that. Looking at April of 23, slight continuation into that sideways period. No real pattern emerging here yet, in my opinion. We have a green, then a red, then a green, then a green. Going back to 22. This was basically the dead cat bounce of the bull/bear market cycle here. April closed down low, closed actually all the way back for like a year-long low on a monthly close that led to just selling off. Maybe that's something to pay attention to into April here. Hopefully not closing lower than, I don't know, March was closed. That's not a very good read. Going back to 21, and this is maybe more relevant, right? Because we look at a 4-year cycle. This would be the April 4 years ago. We were rallying to all-time highs in March. April pretty much marked the top until Q4. And we saw the all-time high break by just a little bit. April in this sense, actually, you know, I can say this. April kind of shaping up to be the reversal month. Look at this. All-time high in Q1, reversal. Dead cat bounce, sent it lower. April in 23, a little choppier, a little less clean of a read, but Q1 was very much up. April came and we went sideways/down. So April did bring, I'll say, a reversal or at least a trend change from that Q1 previous. Same thing happened actually last year in April. We had a solid rally going on into March. April came and we got a 6-month kind of down sideways chop. So April providing seemingly historically a pretty big reversal zone, a pretty big or at least reversal month in the chart of Bitcoin. That does extend back to 22. April was the month after March, if you remember, from COVID. And April was hella bullish. We saw explosive growth and rebounding from the lows of March, even though it didn't feel like it at the time. April here proving again to be a big reversal time. We had trended down from July of 2019 into the COVID lows, and April was the first sign of hope. Maybe the first sign of hope after all that crashing. What's interesting is that was also true back here in 19. April 1st. I remember this very clearly because I tweeted, we're going to pump on April 1st back in 2019 because nobody will believe it. And then we did. Suspicious. April proving again to be a big time. Now, not quite as clean of a reversal as many of the examples we've seen here. You can see February, March, green, but not really getting anywhere. April started to really kick that off. This is a bad fit, at least compared to the last many we've looked at. April going against the trend from 2017, 18's all-time high, giving us, again, you know what we can identify here? This might again be April after the all-time high. Ooh, weird. After the all-time high, April giving us that dead cat bounce after both all-time highs here. Weird. Very weird, actually. Being a part of that dead cat bounce, bringing us down lower after the all-time high was in. If we go on, like I believe the bull run is still going, I don't think that the all-time highs are over this year. If that turns out to be the truth, next year in April, that's going to be a really interesting time to watch. We'll find out one step at a time. A little bit of trend reversal, but really not quite as good, not quite as fitting. Seems that this pattern breaks up or falls apart a little bit once you get back to 2018. 17, 16. These were continuations, right, of the same trend. April didn't really bring much. April didn't really bring much here in 15. Big month back in 14. Dead cat bounce related to the all-time high again. Weird. That's actually really strange. April seems pivotal in these like post all-time high bounces. Maybe that means we get a bounce. Maybe that means if we get a bounce this month in April and it doesn't bring us anywhere, maybe that means we look to short it. That could make sense. 12, that's actually pretty solid. Trade sideways and you kicked off the run again to the all-time high. April with a big gaining month in 2011, and that's pretty much our whole history. Not much more to go through. April has had quite a history. Quite a history in Bitcoin. Really quick though, one more. Let's just look at the April Fool's candles. Not much bearish engulf of the previous bullish one last year. Another red one. Nothing really happened. Wasn't really significant. Let's go all the way back here. Very close to that high of the dead cat bounce. Reversal. 2011. Not much. April 1st, actually, in the last few iterations, do not seem to be big candles. Really just tiny little things. Not a lot of volatility. After COVID, April 1st. Continuation, just not a lot going on there either. Okay, April 1st, you really have to go back all the way to like 2019 to get like a significant April Fool's candle. Yes, this technically was April 2nd, but it was still April 1st to my memory in like US time. This was just like after the daily closes started rocketing. 2019 was the last really big one. A lot of wicks, lots of top wicks and bottom wicks. This may suggest that April 1st, not a great trading day tomorrow. Not a great day to trade, likely to get stopped out in both directions. Hang now. Interesting. So here we are. March is about to close. It's been a weird quarter. I think that is the biggest part of all of this. This has been a weird quarter. It has been a quarter that's felt exceptionally bad. We did not come back to 71.2. If we see selling off continue, so if we see last year repeat, 71.2, 71.3, a likely place to look for support that hasn't changed. Kind of surprising we didn't get that low, like based on how bad it felt, how bearish everyone was. The year being red, like kind of just all the bullish momentum taken out of the market, it seems. It's kind of weird we didn't touch 71.2. The low of the quarter coming at 76. That's not even back to March's high. Yet sentiment reached levels that we had seen, not since bear market bottoms. We saw fear and greed read like under 10, mirroring October, November of 22. Here we are sitting at 82.8. In perspective, things really not so bad. They're just really boring. I view the chart, and of course I don't know the future, but I really do view the chart here as the worst outcome, in my opinion, is that we see something similar to last year. We see a long period of consolidation, a long sideways. That is, in my opinion, the worst thing to happen. I would much prefer to move down April 1st, let's test 71 and bounce, right? Or obviously move up. I think the worst thing is going to be sideways. I think that's how we squeeze the most people out of this market. And hopefully that's not what we're going to see. But looking at the monthly, I mean, that's kind of what looks like lined up. In March, we came back to not only the yearly open, as we predicted on this stream. Once we started falling, we said, look for that yearly open. I still have the short open from 93.5 for this exact reason. We said, looking in March for a back test of that previous support, that's probably the place to go short. We shared that here. I went short live, still open. You had previous support here, fell, lost it, back tested. This is not a good month. This is not a good monthly candle. If you're only going to look at like maybe these candles and say what will happen next, that's the logical move. I don't want that to be the next move. But only looking at maybe these 5 candles in a bubble, that is what you look for. There's really very little to look for otherwise. A lot of you may be saying, but Tom, there's 6 hours left. None of you are saying that, but I'm thinking it. There's 6 hours left. This could change. Bitcoin has made incredible moves in the past over 6-hour periods, especially at the end of monthly, even quarterly or yearly closes, are times for extreme volatility. occasionally. So if something happens here, that could change. Maybe even, I don't think that closing a green month is enough. So 84.3, I don't think that that is enough to really change this. It might look a little better if this is a green month, right? A little, but you still have this very threatening top wick that has rejected from not only your monthly support here, but your yearly close. That is a sign. That is a sign from market participants that they are in uncomfortable positions into this year, and they likely looked to shift out of them on that back test. That is just not what you want to see. But a green close, I don't even know if that's better, honestly, because unless you close really high up, or I mean, Lord have mercy, 93.3 would be amazing if we rally in the next 6 hours. You still have this really high, tall top wick. Lots of selling pressure. You have a lower low on the month after a lower high, and you just don't have anything good to go on. So at the moment, provided we don't see anything really in the next 6 hours, which is probably the outcome, this is probably what the month is looking at. Probably what Q2 is looking for here. That would match up with what we saw last year on Q2. Everything would look pretty normal. God, this all looks pretty bad. It all looks pretty bad. Can we go up here? Money flow. This is kind of odd. We are just hovering here at a slightly lower high of money flow. In 6 hours, I don't expect us to trade at 90K or something, but maybe we can move up just enough that we have a higher high on our monthly money flow. And maybe that sets us up for a more bullish April, May, June. Maybe that's kind of a stretch here. Looking for some hopium, because at the moment, everything is not very hopium-ish. Not a lot of hopium going on the chart. Last week, goddamn, Sunday closed bearish engulf on the week heading into Q2. Again, another kind of bearish signal here. Another bearish signal. I'm not going to say kind of, another bearish signal. Almost nothing bullish. There's virtually nothing bullish. We have a little bit of bull div on this weekly candle, this weekly low here. You can see this RSI low came down a little bit lower than all the way back here in September of 24. Take it or leave it. That's all we got. We were looking for momentum to finally start rolling over on the week. We haven't gotten it yet. A strong rally this week might change that, but for now, that's not the outcome I was hoping for. This is starting to look like a lower high here again. Lower highs. I like higher highs, guys. We like to be as high as possible. Not low. Not low. Retracement is still kind of janky. Like this. God damn. I have so much to do after this stream still. Oh my God. I have so much to do on the other computer still. I'm dreading it. I didn't even go to the gym today because I woke up in just like paralysis of annoyance and frustration. I was like, going to the gym would be the best thing for me to do today because I'm frustrated. So I won't do it because I'm annoyed. Fuck my life. All right. Down to the day we got looking crappy. Awesome. Hit your high, fell back down. Looking to close another daily candle in not great condition. Awesome. Anything at all. It's like rejected from the 618. Back down. There might be a long at 80.7. I don't know how I feel about taking a long into like this new quarter starting, but we are back to roughly the 618 from the low to our, at the moment, lower high. This is also a untested open weekly candle. After closing a bearish engulfing candle on Sunday, this is probably the logical spot to look. The confidence of a bounce here is not great, but it is certainly a potential trade if you're looking for a long position. Maybe I'll take it. I still have my short open. Maybe I'll take this. What do we got? We just go back to the weekly open. 86 for a little bit higher than a 1-to-1. Maybe back to the yearly open. It wouldn't be impossible for this quarter. I just feel like it's not a great target, huh? I'm going to leave it like this for now. Not financial advice. On the day. What's up, boys? I know, I'm sorry. On the day, we do inch closer to our death cross on the day. We had a full in-depth video on this last week. If you didn't catch it, I would go back and watch it. This is still slated, I think, for about April 7th, second week of April. We have seen these mark the bottom a few times. Most importantly, recently, we have seen them mark the bottom. So maybe we're going to be looking for that low to come in at some point between now and the 7th-ish of April. We are below the 200-day, which absolutely sucks. Not a good position to be in. Oscillators on the day looking pretty crappy. Man, it is hard. It's hard to stay bullish, my friends, at least in the short term. Can't wait to be wrong, because if we keep saying that, we're going to be wrong at some point. I think our CME gap opened and closed. Is that correct? Open and closed. Open and closed. Open and closed. There we go. The high of today, closing the CME gap that printed. Interesting. This has happened now 2 weekends in a row or 3 weekends in a row. We've opened Monday to a gap, instantly filled it, and really gone nowhere. Nowhere at all. We only have gaps below us now. We have none above or at price. What's pretty cool, and this is why I recommend you go back and watch that video from Friday, CME has a little bit different picture when it comes to these moving averages. It actually hasn't seen any death crosses in this rally. The last death cross on CME was February of 22 when price was at 46, 47K. We have seen none on this rally. You can see we get close, and then I describe this, or I've named this bullish kissing. We've seen this happen twice in this rally, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on that again, right? If we see the 50 and 200-day cross on CME, maybe that's a more bearish sign than we'd usually think it is. We have seen about 3 tests of the 200-day on both of these attempts. So maybe we're looking for 1, 2 higher lows here before we move higher. TBD. TBD. What's up, Yuri? Man. Total crypto market cap is not doing great either. It's not doing great either. Really reflecting that of Bitcoin rejecting from that 3 trillion. Praying for a higher low. That's really where we're at now. I feel like this is it. It's like you got to get a higher low. If you don't get a higher low, I think we have to wait until Q3, Q4. Hell, maybe longer. Who knows? Total also looks, it really just looks the same as Bitcoin. Pretty weak and crappy. Man. April 12th is full moon. April 7th is half moon. The half moon. We need a half moon, my friends. Hash ribbons fired. Ben's chair. I'm going to throw that on. Get the blues. Get the blues, yeah. All right, well, here we go. Here's some hopium. This is some hopium for our pipes. I think hash ribbons has something to do with the hash rate and Bitcoin's price. Do not quote me. Pretty sure it does. Something to do with like, yeah, hash rate and price. I don't know the formula exactly. We have seen over the last few years this fire off in October of 24. I remember we covered this and it was a good signal. That led us to new all-time highs. However, it also fired off, and here's what we probably need to be aware of. It also fired off back here in July into this lower high right before the bottom, right before also the interesting timing, right before the death cross. Death cross happened right here in August, which is interesting because now we see this firing off. We have the death cross coming. Maybe this is suggesting we see one more low, death cross, back test, sideways price action to all-time highs, perhaps. That's kind of hopium-ish, but I like it. This fired off all the way back here in August of 23. It was not a good signal at the time, but it did age well. We eventually moved on to higher highs after the hash ribbon fired. That's August of 23. That was not a great signal. Back here in January of 23, of course, this was a solid, great firing of it. We only traded it all since then below for 1 day, not even an entire day, just a little bit of time in that day in February before we moved higher. Hash ribbons have been decent signals. Something that I think makes them has a little confidence is you do tend to see this fire more when the market is in a bull run. You can see all the way here from July, the low of 21 summer, into the all-time high. It did not fire at all until we got to August of 22, which was admittedly a bad signal, but at least it didn't fire during this falling period. It is good to see it going off, as that has typically suggested the market was bullish. It did a really, really good job here. This is the one I remember. It nailed it. December of 2020, breaking all-time high, fired off pretty well. July of 2020, fired off. That was a good signal also. This was a good one actually in April after the March crash. This was short-term a good one into a bad one. So hash ribbons, I'll say this. It's good to see it going off. It's good to see it entering the blue buy. I wouldn't say that it's enough to go long based on, but we do tend to see the hash ribbons active when the market is more bullish versus bearish. What's up, Shane? How you doing, man? Never drops below previous low. Currently 76. Wait, never drops below previous low. That's not true. That's not true. Right here. Right? I mean, that right there is a rough example. Technically that's higher, but let's see. Are you right? No, that can't be true. You know why? Because it fired here. It fired right here. So it had to. It had to have traded lower. Yeah, there you go. Fired lower again. So 1, 2, 3 times right here in a row. It's not a bad signal. It's not bad. I think it's a good thing to see. You definitely want it to be going off right now, but does it guarantee we don't go lower? I don't think so. Do I think tariffs on the second is going to make the market crash? I don't think that they're going to make the market pump. That's for sure. Do you wear sunglasses so we don't see your eyes? I don't know. There's many reasons, actually. Many reasons. Mostly for your safety. What's up, Hype Soul? Oh, shit. Hype Soul. Holy shit. Can we get a prayer for Jason Casper and his family? He had to jump off his stream? What? Whoa, really? I'll send him a text later today once I'm done. Once I'm setting up the computer and shit again for the next 20 hours. Man, I hope Jason Casper is okay. Yeah, let's all send him a little bit of our love. Shit, dude. Does anybody know what happened? He just said he had to go. He's good people, man. Let's definitely send him our love, our energy. I don't know what happened. I'm just learning about this right now. You can definitely be bullish on bearishness because it's a good time to be. Wow, please pray for my family. Hopped off all of his dad was in the hospital. Shit. Wow. Well, I will definitely send him a text today when we're done here, and maybe I'll just send it to him now. I'll just send him a text. Hold up. Say, yo, bro, heard you had to pop off stream. Everything okay? Chat is asking about you right now. There we go. See if he replies. If I get an update, let you know. You know, we spent this whole time talking about kind of longer time frames and things as we amp up into April, into the close of Q1. Low time frames. It's 5 minute actually looks pretty pretty bullish. Bull div on your lows here on low time frames coming up. Our lows are coming up. Our RSI low coming down there. 15 minute. Ooh. Not quite exciting, but a lot of potential here on low time frames. Prayers for Casper from you. Same. Hourly finally rolling over. I mean, I like this. You have a higher high. You got some springy kind of more springy than usual price action. Here is exactly where the hash rate's fired, by the way. Hash ribbon's fired. 4 hour. Maybe the long is the play. Higher low on money flow for the 4. Down and overbought. I would love a rally into April. I would love it. 4 hour green dot. This isn't far. It's a 12 hour green dot. VWAP at 0. This is what we're looking for on the week. We haven't even gotten it on the day yet, though. Hopefully that 12 hour can hold some strength here. You can see that roll into some other time frames, pick us up a little bit. Like I said, we have 6 hours left in the quarter. It looks largely like it wants to close here, right? But when we get those unexpected big moves, the volatile moves, we do tend to see them at the end of big time frames, the end of months, obviously the end of quarters, the end of years. Typically, if this was any other given 5 hour period over the last 3 months, it probably would be like, yeah, not likely anything's going to happen. I will say it largely looks like it wants to close right here, but we have I'll say a higher possibility, a higher chance of volatility going into this quarterly close, whether it's the upside or downside. God, I hope it's upside. The CME gap has been filled. That is true. Tick to hide small balances on your Binance account. Your whole portfolio disappeared. That's like a decent joke. You can make a good joke out of that. I like that, my friend. Someone wanted to wait for time to deploy powder. Now it's like we're going lower. I mean, if I was going to deploy powder, man, I'd be looking at 71 too. I'd be waiting, seeing how that feels. I probably, it's either the best time or the worst time right here, right now. I don't love it. I don't love it. I think DCAing Bitcoin is always a good strategy, but like a lot of unknowns. I would even argue that everything we know about the next coming days is bearish. And so maybe that makes it a good idea. Maybe it makes it a good idea only in the sense that this is typically when you buy and no one else is buying, it ends up being a good buy. When buyers are gone and you're like the only one left, it ends up over time being like aging well. That is the only logic I can feel right now. That's some counterintuitive game theory-ish logic there. I don't know. That's hard. It's a hard sell, man. It is a hard friggin' sell. Selling the news, buying the event. What's the news today? What's up, Lucky Thoughts? So bearish, it's bullish. Mike Bennett getting those words eloquent for me. That's kind of where we're at. I like the low time frames. If you're looking to scalp, I think long is probably your friend, at least to 84.3. I think you can get that trade maybe even from here to 84.3 today. Definitely possible. But man, I'm going to need some changes. I'm going to need to see April. I mean, that's reality. I'm going to need to see April. Music. I love this song. My friends. It's been a long friggin' 24 hours, man. I spent so many hours troubleshooting this computer, and literally as soon as I get off this stream, I just have to go back to continuing doing that. I have to set everything back up on the old computer, log into everything. I don't know, friggin' logins or passwords anymore to half the crap. Probably lost some. Gonna have to recover accounts, reconnect things, set up the entire stream again. This is gonna be a day, man. I'm not looking forward to it. I do appreciate y'all tuning in today, though, making me feel a little bit better, helping out, praying Jason Casper's doing okay. Shout out to him and his family. I hope they are doing all right. Man. When did we start this? 1:30, 45 minutes. Yeah. I'm so goddamn exhausted. Screw you, NVIDIA. I'm so exhausted, dude. I'm so exhausted from doing this. I just spent all day yesterday doing it. And I'm not done, and I have that chip on my shoulder of like, you're not done. Like you're not done. You have so much more troubleshooting to do. I hate computers. Alex Wells, that's a fair thing to say. I do too. I hate NVIDIA for friggin' releasing an update to their drivers that wrecked my computer, my brand new computer. Is what it is. Just keep your ETH short open? Probably. What happened to the computer? Do not update your NVIDIA driver. That's all I'm going to say. I complained about it for a while. I don't want to make the whole episode about it. Updated my NVIDIA driver. My brand new computer from January just would not boot up, would not go to safe mode, nothing. As soon as it restarted from that update, it said, you need to restart to update from the NVIDIA driver updatey thingy. And I said, okay. And then it just never went back on. Not until I wiped the whole thing. I had to like format the drive, lost everything that was on that computer. Obnoxious. It's just embarrassing. They're like $1 bajillion company, and their current update, this is a known issue. Oh, I'm gonna get started again. This is a known issue by them. Yet still, that's the fucking update on their NVIDIA update, GeForce Experience, whatever thing. It's like the current one. It's like from March 15th or I don't know, something. It's from this month. Yet they still have it up, and it's doing this. Like I lost so many hours, so much work, so much stuff. At least Bitcoin looks pretty good on these low time frames right now. What's up, Ivan? I see you subscribing. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. You're listening to me, bitch, today. You're here. You're locked in. I like the low time frames. The higher time frames, I think we're unfortunately just going to have to wait and see, right? We're just going to have to wait and see. We have 6 hours until Q2 comes. April, a lot of promises, a lot of stuff coming. We'll find out. We'll figure out what happens together. We'll be here live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. East. A little bit earlier usually, actually. I'm more like noon. Here's what I'm going to do, my friends. I have so much work to do on this computer still. I'm just going to go do it. And here's what I think. This has been a short stream. I'm just going to go do it. Make sure you subscribed and liked. I'm just going to go do it. But if we get a spicy move at daily close or into the daily close, my goal is to have the new computer back online and operational, and we'll go live again. How's that sound? I think that sounds pretty good. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Send your prayers to Jason Casper's family. I have not heard back from him, so I assume there's some kind of emergency. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Keep your eyes peeled for another stream today. That's what I'll say. Keep your eyes peeled. Make sure your notifications are on. You're subscribed. You're engaged. And I will catch you cats soon.